Today I'm going to tell you an interesting story about the life of Saint Basil the Great. Saint Basil is also known as the patron saint of monks, educators, and in Russia. He was born around the year 329 AD in a small town of Caesarea, which is now part of Turkey. His parents were devout Christians, and his spiritual upbringing shaped his mind and heart. He also received a good education in Caesarea and later in Athens, where he mastered philosophy, rhetoric, and theology. In Athens, he had a lasting friendship with Gregory of Nazianzus, a holy and intellectual man who would later become a saint and father of the church. After finishing his studies, Basil returned home and began teaching. But he soon felt a deeper calling to spiritual life. He then traveled to Egypt, Palestine, and in Syria to learn more about monastic life. And when he arrived in Turkey, he finally decided to leave his life and become a monk. He gave away all his inheritance and belongings to devote himself to prayer, simplicity, fasting, and service to the poor. He also founded several monasteries and created rules for monastic living that are still followed by Eastern monks. In time, he became a priest, and then in 370 AD, he became the bishop of Caesarea, where he tirelessly defended Christianity against Arian heresy, which denies the divinity of Jesus. He also wrote many works on theology, and one of his greatest contributions was the Divine Liturgy, which is still used in our Holy Mass. When you attend a Eucharistic celebration, after singing the Sanctus when everyone kneels, the priest will say a prayer of praise and thanksgiving for God's wonderful creation. This special prayer was written by Saint Basil. Also during the consecration, the priest says the invocation of the Holy Spirit prayer as he blesses the bread and wine. This particular prayer is called the Epiclesis, which was also composed by Basil. And after the priest raises the bread and wine, he also invokes another prayer intention for the living and the dead. This prayer is called diptychs, also called the Commemoration of the Faithful, which can also be found in his book, The Divine Liturgy, written during the 4th century. Although his life was dedicated to writing and scholarly work, Basil was also known for his compassionate heart. In Caesarea, he built a small hospital called Basiliad. It was a place where poor and hungry people could come to ask for food and medicine, and provide shelter for those in need. This was why he was also known as the Father of the Poor in the early church. On January 1st, 379 AD, Basil died at the age of 50 years old, and although he passed away, his legacy lived on to this day. After his death, his body was buried, and over time, portions of his relics were transferred to various churches, including sites in Turkey and commemorative locations such as the famous St. Basil's Cathedral in Moscow, Russia. His feast day is celebrated every 2nd of January. If you like stories like this, support us, follow, like, and subscribe.